know. Hey, hey, what's going on? Welcome everybody to Poetry's Paradise, episode 1. Tonight we have brother Josh Smalls, and also tonight we have Mynichelle. Welcome, my brother, my sister. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
All right.
I had to make sure my screen was clean.
How you doing, sis? I can't hear you. I think your mic is muted. All right, I guess you'll be back in on that. Yeah, brother. So we here tonight to talk about Poetry's Paradise, and also this here place. This is a haven, a new haven for all authors of poetry. The dynamics of writing. You know, there's no particular way of writing. What I like people to know, poetry is poetry. You know what I mean? So this is the new haven. You know what I mean? Unlike the poetry corner, but this is the new haven. Poetry's Paradise. How you feel about that, brother?
First of all, appreciate you for bringing me through. You know what I mean? You know, especially #1 episode, man. I mean, like that's hey.
Yeah.
To be part of the jump start, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. So definitely appreciate that. But Poetry
no
Paradise,
doubt, man.
Absolutely a dope. It's a dope title, man. That is incredible.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, I just thought, I was like, yo, we need something like a new haven of poetry. Poetry's Paradise. Yeah. Where people could just come through. But at the same time, I figure like, let's support the author. You know what I'm saying? Unlike before, a lot of times we have change in the world where, you know, we have to be right there. But okay, sis is back.
There you go.
I can see now. Yay!
We can hear you now.
We can hear you good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you the same thing, Mynichelle. Like, how do you feel about Poetry's Paradise? That name.
How do I feel about it? Oh, I love the name. I think it's unique, and paradise. You can never go wrong with the thought of paradise, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what's up. That's what's up. But here's my question. I'm gonna ask you both questions, one at a time. So you know me, always trying to be a gentleman, ladies first. But so how does that resonate with your spirit about Poetry's Paradise and you being an author and a poet? Like that connectivity. Where do you feel that it bonds within yourself?
Okay, so you're coming in and out a little bit.
You hear me now?
Can you repeat the question for me?
Poetry's Paradise. How does it resonate with your spirit, with you being an author and a poet?
How does it resonate with my spirit?
Yeah. What comes to you?
What comes to mind from it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It just reminds me of a place where you can come. Well, the title of it reminds me of a place where I can come and share my thoughts openly, freely, to be completely myself, and not have to worry about outside influence, things of that nature, but just to be open and free and natural. I would be the best thing to say. Open, free, and natural.
That's what's up. Ain't no greater answer than that. Yeah. Okay, brother Ja, same thing, brother.
I think when you think paradise, right, it's like the answer to everything, right? It's peaceful, and it's home, right? No matter what you grew up doing in life, everybody knows paradise is like the best place. And so, poetry, paradise, that combination is in itself a metaphor. I think it's a magical metaphor at that. You know, it doesn't get much better than that. As a writer, as an author, as a poet, it doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, here's my next thing I'm going into. I'm gonna go with you, Kendra. When you published your first book, what was that feeling?
It felt amazing. And nervous. I was very nervous initially, just about putting myself out there. Of course, encouragement. I know Coach, for instance, has, always encouraged me, get out there, write your book, just put it out, just do it, basically. AJ was another great influence. Mr. Witts, Gifted. I had so many people that were encouraging me to do it. And I was honestly initially just scared. It's poetry is personal, and you never know what someone else is going to think of it. But once you get past that and you're doing it for yourself, as a testament, and being able to put yourself out there for you, then that part goes away just a little bit. I mean, it's still there because you want people to enjoy it, but ultimately it's a piece of who I am. It's a piece of me.
All right, that's what's up. What has been your the feedback from your published work?
I've had a lot of great feedback. People are, generally asking, of course, hey, when are you going to do another one? And I do have probably enough to do another one. It's just, taking the time to actually put it together. I've had people that have resonated with some of the pieces that are in there. They've learned things about themselves, learned things about me from it. So yeah, I've had pretty good feedback. I don't think I've necessarily had anything quote unquote negative that I would look at and say, oh, that was something bad that came back. So
all right, that's what's up. And you are a dope poet. I mean, I'll be a testimony to that. You know what I mean? And the book is fly. You know what I mean? After, I think I'm gonna take your book in tonight to work and reread it. I might have missed something up in there. You know what I mean? Word.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That book?
Yo. Yeah, that book right there. Right there.
You guys are.
All right, Coach, man. So the same question.
I'm 6 books in now, right?
Amen.
But there's nothing like the first one, even though it's never the same as you do, as you bring more books, produce more books. I will say that what I've learned, it was such a rush to get my first book out because I wanted to have it out, right? It was something that I thought about for some time. And it was scary in the sense that, who's going to buy this book? And then it became a point where I was basically like, who's not going to buy this book? The reality check set in, and a lot of people did not buy the book. And I think a lot of authors, we fail to let that part register. You know what I mean? Especially as a first time author, right? When you first, what they say, pop your cherry, when you first pop your cherry, it's extremely disheartening when you have not set yourself up in a way that this might not be the book to sell.
Mm.
Because you assume that everybody says they love you is going to buy the book. You just automatically assume that. Like, if nothing else, everybody who sat in this open mic spot that I come to every week, or this slam that I come every month, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves me here. So everybody's going to buy my book. And then, you know, you got these copies, and it's like, oh, that's nice. And so I think the aftermath of the reality check from your initial book helps you understand the business part of it, because we're always looking at the paradise part of it. We don't look at the realistic part of it. So, you know, it's a lot in there, man. It's a lot.
No, I feel you on that. I've been through that whole network myself, man. It's like, oh, yeah, I feel like Snoop Dogg on stage. Y'all ain't got no love.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? But as the years passed on, I just like, you know what? I do it for the culture, though.
Yeah.
I think that's what pushes my spirit. You know what I mean? Doing it for the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, catching myself in that wave, and it's just like feeling good. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you feeling some kind of way, right? And then you listen you hear some good music come on, you're like, yo, that's my joint from back in the day. You know what I mean? So you catch that emotion and that feeling. And that's how I feel about when I put my books out. You know what I mean? I guess because I work healthcare, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always looking for what's the next to get that vibration going, like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even though I'm 30 in right now, but you know, that's just God's gift for just bringing me to whatever level He want me at. You know what I mean? But like I said, I do it for the love. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I just get my juices rolling and whatnot. But I love being in tune and being a fan of other poets. You know what I'm saying? Yourself included, Ja. You know what I'm saying? You dope and fly. I be peeping y'all joints out on the social media platforms. I'll be like this, like at nighttime, I'm like, yo, that's fly. I said that brother kind of smooth with it. I said, you know, I said maybe I need to relax down a little bit, get that little New York rigid edge off myself. I mean, and then I hear Sis with her joint. I'm like, she just got that spirit. You know what I mean? So
let me add to what you just said, because I don't want to miss that, right? The magic becomes when the author is no longer writing books for other people. You know what I mean? Like, so we're writing them because we want people to read them and be inspired and touched by them. But when you're finally settled in with, you know, I'm writing this because I have something to say.
Right.
And I'm doing this because this is what I want to do, right? This is a part of who I am and what I feel like my voice should be saying now. When the writer acknowledges that and accepts that, it doesn't matter if you sell 40 books or 40,000. The mission is accomplished because you had a purpose behind it.
Right.
And then to add to that, what I encourage a lot of folks to do, which I'm learning now, right? And I told you I'm 6 books in now, right?
Yeah.
I'm learning now is that when we're creating this magic, we have to keep in mind that audience that we're writing this, that we want to listen, even if they don't purchase the book, right? But we want them to listen. So if I'm writing a children's book, I don't take it to open mic night with the adults. It's not for them, right? And so we have to learn that part of the writing and accept it, and then be okay with saying that, yeah, I know this is for these folks, so I'm going to focus here. And if anybody else trickles in, that's fine. But I'm writing it for these folks to read. However, I'm writing this for me. I'm writing this because this is what I want to get out. My brother Wiz has this thing that used to irk me until I actually understood that part. He said, man, I got all this stuff and I just need to get it out, bro. And I'm like, bro, who you selling it to? Because that was my thing, right? I'm thinking on that aspect of it. But as an artist, we need both ends. I need Wits to remind me that I got all of this stuff in here that I need to get out. And at the same time, I need to realize, okay, I'm writing this for who? So at least I can bypass, you know, the avenues I have to go down to get to Main Street, but I make it to Main Street.
Mhm.
and I'm focusing on what's on Main Street. So we need that balance. So, Witz, if you in here, you taught me, bro. It's in there. It's in there.
Yeah, I feel you on that. That's deep right there. I hope you listeners out there is and taking that in as a bit of encouragement. You know what I mean? Like, this can happen. We all have the magic within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? To just script it out, scribe it out, and make it do what it do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
So being that got the authors out there, you got the poets right there, the perfect combination. Oh, you know what I mean? It might be some Johnny Gill, Stacey Lattisaw thing going on right now. But hey, why don't we send some poetry out there to the community that's watching and listening in. And all right, both don't rush at the same time to the mic and the stage. You know what I mean? Just take your time. But you know, I'm always a gentleman, like I say, Kendra, you know what I'm saying? Why don't you open up that door?
Okay. So I will just share something out of my book because I'm on my phone right now, you know, with my um difficulties that I'm having, technical difficulties. I will just
that's
share
cool.
something out of here. So I'll share just the first poem. Let's see, I'll put my glasses on. So this one's called Accepted. I found love in you, accepting me as a part of you. Found love flowing from you. You are more than a part of me. You are who I am. A free verse released in haiku, a foundation of carefully structured bare bones standing silently stripped of safety's covering. I am uncovered in cautiously constructed rants, seen exposed yet still protected. I dance, fingers to pen, gripping the tip, untwirling my thoughts, flowing through ink all naturel on unruled paper, lifting life's light to new levels, leaving fine points etched in sheets of wood, hemorrhaging held pain as a dam liberating water, soaring into the rain, disrobed, unclad, undraped, succeeding through sorrow, smiling pure radiance, freeing my voice, exposing my vulnerability for the love of my poetry. The first piece.
Ooh. I love that. I have a question.
Yes.
What inspired you to write that beautiful piece of poetry?
It's my poetry is where I'm free. It's I've always, and I have a weird kind of personality, right? I'm an, how would I say, an introverted extrovert. So, and I've always been more on the quiet side. But whenever it came to my writing, that's just where I was always able to express myself. And so I think that poem, it shows all of that. You know, it's just,
I loved it.
It's the freeness. It's also where you can see where I'm closed in. It is, it's what poetry does for me, and why I write. You know, it's my therapy. It is my go-to. It's where I'm safe, no matter what. So I can be naturally me in my poetry. So
I mean, all right. Thank you for that beautiful piece of poetry. All right, John, what you got for us, brothers?
First, I want to say, like, one of the things that I've admired about Kendra's work is she has a way of gentling, right? If that's the word. She makes things very gentle, but so straight to the point. It's not a mystery in her work, and it's beautifully written, and she brings the voice to make it perfect. I've always been a fan of her stuff from the beginning. I couldn't wait for her book. Obviously, it's always on my desk. Like, every time you come on live, I show you your book is right there. All right, I don't know when you're coming on, but she has a magic in her pen, and I really, really appreciate that work. I appreciate much of her work.
That's what's up.
I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you. You played a big part in that. So I greatly appreciate you and acknowledge you for helping me be where I am. Yes,
It's a
exactly.
win-win.
I'll admit, like when we were doing when I was doing those writing sessions and those workshops, Kendra would come and she would put the work in, and it showed in her work. She put the work in, and it has been incredible. So I'm grateful to have played a small part in that, but it's amazing. It is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, word up on that.
So I
So,
am a friend of mine whom I just met recently. I call her my little sis. She's a friend we met on TikTok, and she's an amazing vocalist. Her name is A Beautiful Day, and she usually sings a song on live on TikTok live, and
mhm.
I'll do a poem right after her song. So she sent me a playlist and was like, "Well, these are the songs that I listen to," and so she sent me the playlist, and I started writing to those so that when we go live, she could sing a song, and then I'll do a poem. So I'm going to do it's a combination of two poems, but they're shorter poems. I'm gonna combine them together, which you probably can't tell, but it's all good. It
All right.
says, "It was in her tomorrows I was lost, floating like a falling star in the bottomless sea. I know the power of her energy, but there's little hope for the hopeless romantic. So I raise my white flags and tell myself that tomorrow is a new day. And as for now, I'll rest in her eyes, in her footprints. Hang on to her opening lines like a holiday wreath. I am here to stay. Accepting her balance one sip at a time because, well, life is a battlefield. And some will learn to fight while others will surrender and bow their heads. See, when I am unable to continue, I consider every breath a casualty. But this is love and it is immovable. So with 10 fingers, a tiny voice holding the sweetest goodnight, she paints me in testimony. Etch the sky tender with a blink of an eye. I hear often in the silence of the night. When teardrops retire on soft quilts, she's a golden trumpet. A treasure buried in a sequel of God's promises. Some will call her holy. Many have forgotten her name. So I'll call her by her heartbeat. Like nature once the seasons change. I love her in every brown season by natural light. In the orange shades whose purpose is to triumph the spring. She makes me over. Infuses me with nature's best. I worship the molecules of her softness. The strength hitting in the meek of her shoulders. 10 fingers. The purest thunder purring in the prison of her ribcage. See, I know fantasy, and I see this every moment she calls my attention. She sings, and I bow, and together we all love.
Hey, that's what's up. Give both of y'all
Wow.
applause and everything too.
Hello.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was dope. Definitely dope and smooth, man.
Yeah.
Y'all two are definitely fly with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Johnny Gill, Stacey Gladys saw poetry, all that. Hey, that might be a title somewhere. You know what I mean?
It
Right
might.
up.
It
Perfect,
might.
perfect combination. Yeah, but so John, I have
That
a
was a
question,
beautiful
man.
piece, though. That's a beautiful piece. The way that you, and I know you've, for past 6 months to a year or so, with the love poetry and just really allowing yourself to go there. I think that for, I'm just gonna say as a woman, I'm not gonna say as a poet. I would say as a woman, it is encouraging and it is a beautiful experience to hear a brother able to express himself in that way, without being vulgar and without being yeah, just expressing how you feel. And it just really allows us to take it in and open up and just to receive it, so thank you for doing that. That means a lot.
Hey,
let
that's
me
what's up.
let me say this really quick. First of all, me and Complicated Passions that got together, teamed up for about it's a little over a year now. We decided to write this book called Love Is, which I'll show later. And he has a way of writing these one pagers that really challenged me. And I was like, yo, I want to step up to the plate. So that's what birthed the idea of writing these love poems. After receiving his book, which I have close by. I've got tons of books over here and over here. So. But because this is my space in the garage. And so that's what sparked it. But I want to answer the call with what Kendra just said. And what I think, and I was talking about this earlier on my live, and I'm going to speak for the fellas, but to the ladies, right? Most men aren't taught to speak like that. So it doesn't mean we don't feel it or we don't know how to, we just don't know how to turn it into action. And we definitely don't know how to verbally express it because we're not taught as such. And I hear a lot of women and they always say, you know, I want a man, I don't want to be teaching nothing. I want to teach that. Let me tell you something. You don't have a relationship if you're not teaching because there's no way I can read your mind. However, you also have to remember that there are red flags that go off in these relationships, and that's any relationship, right? But when you ignore the red flags, you automatically admitting number one that they are red flags, and number two, you're not ready for what you really want because you're trying to fix something that cannot be fixed. Nobody changes for a relationship; they fit into a relationship. That's the goal. And if me trying to be a square to fit into a circle is not working, you're not going to make that work. However, if it does kind of make sense, you can still make artwork out of it. But it doesn't always become pretty art. Some of the best, most expensive art pieces are ugly. But they have so much story in it and character that they become masterpieces. You're not necessarily going to be a masterpiece. And so that's a combination thing. And so what we have to remember is that, and this is, I'm talking to the ladies now, and this is not for men to take advantage of, but women need to understand. If you don't teach your man how to love you, you're already going to lose. And it doesn't mean change him. Because if you change him, he's not who you met from the first place, and that's not your man. That's not your person, right? So me writing these love poems, and I'm ending here, me writing these love poems, so two things. It's number one, to remind women, especially Black women, because that's who I know, that's the community I live in, right? Especially Black women, to remind you that love exists and that you're not unlovable. You've just been fishing with the wrong equipment. Think about that. And number two is these love poems are your alley-oop. Because he doesn't have to be a poet. He doesn't have to be a writer. He doesn't have to be the softest man in the world. However, I'm giving you an open invitation for intimacy on a level that most men have never seen before. And that is for you and your bit.
Amen, brother. Give you a clap on that too.
All
man.
of that. All of that.
Soldiering up. Soldiering up. You know what I mean? Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Letting the audience know this is where you have it. You have it coming from the male perspective and the female perspective through the poetry. You know what I'm saying? Take it in. So, sis, do you have another poem for us?
Sure. Yeah. This one's not in my book. I was able to get my iPad. So this is one of just about Black love. We'll
Hey, that's what's up.
That, I'll share this one.
Real love, Black love.
Yes. Black love be like the moon leading darkness, seen in twinkles of light, like beam me up Scotty in body, floating like out of body experienced. We be like example of woman, God, and man, formed in beauty like the granules of black sand. We be beaches, graced by colored toes, meeting the wetness of vast blue. We be heaven in view, singing melodies anew in rhythmic tune. Black love is naked, barred or bared in intimacy. In to me see, touch, and feel my flow of lava released as an erupting volcano. We explore fumes of fire. We be desire, inspiring reality to live out every blessing, manifesting affirmations, dreams. We be life, living every moment graced in vulnerability, seeing our futures vast, setting it off like gats, shooting bursts of glances, slaying chances. We be success, we be royalty, we be king and queen, we be like God as we be black and in love. Yes.
All right,
Oh, I love
sis.
that. I
That was
love
beautiful.
Thank you.
that. Oh man.
Kendra, you know I'm gonna ask the magic question again, right? What inspired you to write that?
I love
Or
love.
who? or is it who inspired you to write that? Or what
You said,
inspired?
was it what now?
Who inspired or what inspired you to write that?
I enjoy writing love poems. I do.
That's what's up, though.
Um, I've seen it. You've experienced it in certain areas of life, but yeah, I think love is beautiful, and I think that it needs to be
Hey,
celebrated. So many times we, especially, I think everybody. So many times we knock love, and we talk about how bad it is and why it's bad. But when you take that out and you look at what it's supposed to be, when you
right.
look at why it was created and the true meaning of it and how to love and the purpose of love, then it just takes you to a different place. So yeah.
Love the love, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what's up. Beautiful piece again. Like I said, brother, what you got for us?
I don't. Am I worthy of such? After that, like, how do you follow? How do you follow up to that? Oh,
Listen,
man.
I'm pretty sure when Johnny was hearing Stacy singing, he probably was wondering, can I really come behind that? Do I got the vocals?
Not at all. That's
Exactly. Oh man. Let's read this. It was the eyes that told her secrets, the teardrops that traced the curving of her smile. Happy hadn't called her name. Not today. Perhaps not in a long time. Somehow, melancholy blues traced her speech, so I could see her pain. All the hurt from untold stories, although some will call it tragic, I call it beautiful. To me, even in darkness, she could make an average moment seem simply amazing. Lady, I saw you perfect, like the sun once the storm passed. The first glance of excellence after melancholy claimed your space. I know God exists. I met her the first time I saw you, with your smile, with your hugs, the beauty of your skin. Black woman, you are magnificent. See, it's the magic in your country. The way your build says excellence. For that, I love you now, and I will love you always.
All right, brother. Matter of fact, we'll get applause on that too.
Did it again. We do it again.
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful.
That's what's up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all definitely got it in. You know what I mean? Like I said, enjoy and love y'all poetry. And when I coach, you know what I'm saying, definitely got to grab yours tonight too. You know what I mean? Now it's resonating. Let's just pray I have a good night tonight so I can get my read on or like that.
Right.
No, I'll make time for it though. Yeah, definitely go through your books, grab one of them out, take it with me and whatnot. But hey, I enjoy having y'all on the show tonight. You know what I'm saying? I feel honored and blessed, you know. But I have another question too that we can share out with the audience. Like, how do we help others achieve that goal of writing poetry books, or just getting that writing down to being that safe place of expression?
I think the first step, right, is to just write. Don't force it. You know, don't try to write the best work. Just write. A lot of I'm gonna use me as an example, right? Because it was really challenging coming from being a rapper, a rapping song writer, right? From being that type of artist, a battle rapper, freestyle rapper. It's a transition to come from that to writing what we call poetry. And yeah, rap is poetry, whatever. I'm not gonna get into all of that. It is what it is, right? That's a form of poetry. We'll say that, but it's different for me to say I want to love you this kind of way, and then say I'm planning to grow flowers in your dreams. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying? No rapper's going to say I'm going to paint flowers, you know, love flowers to your dreams. You're not going to do that. So it was a transition for me. What I had to get outside of was saying I had to write in this construct. That I have. This is it. I have to stay in this block. I have to stay. I can't go outside of these rims. I have to stay right here. And that only happened when I was going through hurt, depression, all these things was coming. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to write. And I think once I don't care what you write, whether it be songs or poems or journal, once you allow yourself freedom to just write, the rest of it just happens. I don't think anybody sits down automatically say, oh, I'm writing this book and these are the poems that's going in. I'm 6 books in, baby. I'm gonna tell you, don't work like that. Don't work like that. You snatching poems away, you putting new poems, you're adding, oh, let me rewind it. It happens because you start to allow yourself to be natural and you allow yourself to just flow. And that's the point that you gotta come to, in my opinion.
Hey, that's what's up. Appreciate that. Mynichelle?
I think too, it's just like I was saying earlier with the poetry community and how I myself was inspired to write, to be open, to put a book out there from people who had already written. Like, you know, Coach had already written a book, Wits had already written a book, AJ had a book, you know, Gifted had books. So it's them being the mentors that they are and inspiring I don't want to say a new generation of writers. I'll put myself in in that field, to be free and to encourage creativity and to spark that. It really means a lot. And even from that, like from my book, having people, I had a girl call me yesterday that I had met when I was doing open mic at Coffee Underground when I was hosting. And so I read one of my pieces out of my book. And so afterwards, you know, she came up and she's wanting to write a book, you know, so she's wanting to, you know, ask some questions. So that's how life goes, you know, when you're able to share your experiences and not hoard it, right? Like not just take the information and be like, well, no, you know, I don't want you to write a book. I'm the only author out here. Like no, all of us have a testimony. We all have something to share and things that others can benefit from. So it's being open to share that information and and just not being afraid of the gifts that we have. And I say that because I was one who was, I'm not gonna say I was afraid of it, I just didn't want to share it, you know. So when you have gifts, no matter what they are, let it flow to the gamut, you know, from one end of the spectrum to the other. Put it all out there, you know, be free and just share your gifts, share who you are. It means a lot.
I have another question for both of y'all. What gives you the inspiration to write your poetry? Is it music? Is it just life instances? Like where's it at? What's the go-to? What gives you that? and then you like, yo, where my
Every,
pen and pad at?
everything. I can find inspiration in everything. I mean, and it sounds weird. I mean, I have a poem in my book when I was sitting in the car one night looking out on my sunroof, and there goes a poem, and it's so it can be anything. You can be walking. I can walk in the mornings and see one thing, and boom, I get I would write haiku like crazy just from
Yeah,
walks.
that's dope.
So
Right there.
I find inspiration in so many things, movies, conversations. You hear a line somewhere and it's like, oh, like that's a poem. So yeah, I think you can find I find inspiration just about
Yeah.
anywhere.
I think she just
That's what's up. What's up?
Solidified what I just said. It's just that, because she allowed herself to be free. Once you allow yourself to be free, you cannot not find inspiration in any or everything. Think about what I said. I was writing poems to my little sister singing, right? When the unfortunate events happened with Marcellus Williams, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching TV and I'm waiting for the governor or somebody to say, okay, we're going to stop this, right? In the moments, I'm trying to, because I can't grasp what he's feeling or what he's saying, but I'm trying to grasp the moment, right? And in those moments, those minutes where they were probably, last meal and all these things, I wrote a poem and uploaded it basically right during the process. I didn't plan to write that. In fact, to be honest with you, I didn't read as much about it until that point. Like, I heard about it, and I signed a petition when I first got wind of it, what was happening, but I hadn't gone in depth with it. And then I didn't realize how far I actually went until I uploaded the poem on TikTok. And I was like, oh, shoot. I didn't even realize that, you know what I'm saying? So the inspiration comes from everything you allow your body, your mind, your spirit to consume. And if that's not happening, you need to actually take your ink pen and have a conversation with it and say, what am I missing? Or what am I skipping? What am I losing out, right? What am I jumping past? Because I think we're looking at the finish line way too often when it comes to writing. And you can't do that as a poet. You cannot. You can go to the finish line, but you're going to be working backwards. And not that that's not possible, because I've done that too. However, those steps, they're there. There's poems that I wrote the ending before the beginning. There's poems that I didn't know were coming until I tried to combine two things that have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Right? I'll give you another example. I wrote a poem for Dorothy Counts. She's if you look up civil rights images, she's a teenage, she was a teenager then. She's a teenage girl that was walking to school in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was the first one to desegregate Harding High School. You've seen this picture a million times over. I firstly didn't know she was still alive. Secondly, didn't know she was still living in Charlotte, North Carolina. In fact, I forgot it was in Charlotte until I was writing the poem. Then, when I started writing it, I started thinking, what is this? What did she do on this day? Yes, she walked into school and she had us. Well, what did she actually do? She actually planted a seed. The name of the poem is Seeds. I talked about a tomato seed and brought it forward to her poem.
Wow.
Walking through the school. So it happens when you allow yourself the freedom. You have freedom to do it. And as a writer, right? I don't care what writing you're doing. You have to allow yourself that freedom. Kendra she just gave me the amen right there. That's what it was. Yeah.
That's what's up. My next question is, how do you feel about when people say, I have writer's block? I just can't write. I have my own opinion, but this is about y'all. So one at a time, let me know. Let the audience know how you feel about it and what's to be undiscovered about a person saying there's writer's block. Stage is yours.
Kendra, you want to go first?
I will say, okay, I have to take it from the standpoint, and Coach, I hope I'm not gonna steal your thunder because I'm just,
No. Give it up. Give it
I
up.
have to, no. I have to come to a place.
Boom.
So when you take one of Coach's classes, the very first thing that you do is a word dump. So it's like whatever is in your head, you write it down. And that's what I think about writer's block. I mean, I don't think there's a block there. I think that we create blocks. We might not want to write, so we say we have a writer's block. We may not feel like writing or whatever. But if you just take whatever is in your head and just write it down, whatever words come to your mind, one word can spark a whole poem. So yeah, I love that. And sometimes it's good to do. At the end of the day, when you're just feeling like jumbled and you've got a million thoughts going through your head and you're trying to calm it down, like I think about that. I think about the word dump and just, okay, let me just start writing, because sometimes you just have to get things out, and it doesn't have to come out in any particular order. And that's the blessing, I think, of the word dump, is you're not worried about, does this go with this? Does this rhyme with this? Is this making a complete thought? It's just getting it out. Like whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your mind, just get it out.
Totally agree.
Dump it on the paper and let it go from there.
Hey.
Excellent student. You learn, you keep practicing. The mind never stops working. You can't slow it down. You really can't speed it up. It does what it's going to do. That's how it was created, right? So when you look at it this way, think about all the things that you have to do, and then all the things you have to do in order to do the things that you have to do. Not to add the things that happen out of nowhere. So the mind is swollen with thoughts and ideas and practices and just general things. Mm-hmm. So when people say they have a mental block, right, or writer's block, the issue is you haven't found a way to use a funnel to get these thoughts to come through. Mm. So they're all trying to fit, goes back to what I was saying about a square trying to go through a circle. It doesn't match, it won't fit, right? So you have to find a way to not necessarily shrink things, but to sift them out so you can get them out. So it's not a block, it's just that everything's trying to come at one time. And you don't, at the moment, have the capacity to slow the thought process down, to let it go. So it's not a writer's block, because even in a writer's block, most people are writing something and they say it doesn't make sense, or it's not what they're trying to write. And the only thing that's stopping that is because they hadn't taken the time to let the freelance go, right? You got to get rid of shake off all of the other stuff. You got to shake the dust off. Nobody goes and put on their best shoes and go outside and don't look to see if there's dust on it, right? If there's dust, you dust the shoe off, and then you're ready to go. If it's raining outside or snowing, if it's dust on that shoe, it's coming off before you walk out that door. That's writing. Clear that path, clean that slate off. And that's basically simply happens with a word dump. If you do a word dump, whatever block is there, it goes away, because you can always write something, right, unless you don't have to.
That's what I tell people all the time. You know what I'm saying? They be like, you always in your phone all the time texting somebody. That's why I'm not texting, I'm writing poetry. Really? I'm like, yeah. I said, now back to what I was doing when I, excuse you, when I, no, even sometimes we've had meetings like at work and stuff, and it'd be boring to me, and I'd be like, I don't feel like listening to all this. So I'll be like this, because thoughts come to my head, and I'll be like, And they be like, Joel. And I'm like, what? Do you have any questions? No. I mean, and I'll go back to writing, because, like you said, you can find inspiration through anything. A thought, a word, a phrase might catch your attention, and you just take off. Mm-hmm. Like you said, word dump. I always look at things as it's a big kaleidoscope of words, letters, and everything up there, and I just pull from the sky. You know what I mean? Pull it all down. I'm like, all right, just the other, and I'm just. Then I get real sensitive with it a little bit, and that's how I formulate certain poetry and stuff. I just be like, yeah, and I look over and I'm like, Okay, cool. You know what I mean? But like I said, people can always gain inspiration from other people, through other people. You know what I mean? So never say that you have writer's block. You just probably ain't in touch with what you need to be in touch with. Just let it go. Put it on paper. Because the thing you could write I believe that you could write anything down and just formulate it into a style. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Put a flow on it, cadence or whatever, and just talk that talk. You know, just like how the last poets of them did back in the day. You know, everything rhyme or whatever, they just bringing it out. You know what I mean? There's all forms of poetry. But sometimes I think we all get in each other's heads sometimes and be like, oh, I need to write this nice joint. Nah, just like you said, you know what I'm saying? Be natural, let it flow. You know what I'm saying? Word, John, like he said, word dump. You know what I mean? So there y'all have it
I'll
out
say
there.
along with what you were saying, just to open up, that we're all able to write everything. So and both of you probably not know Coach knows, but like before, I've done some like different like erotic type pieces or whatever. But that's something that initially you would have never heard me say or do or write. So, but just allowing yourself to connect with all aspects of yourself is something that's important. I'm finding now I it's important to just release, to get things out, to put it down, whether it is, and it may not always end pretty, because that was one of my things, before. It was just like, oh, if I'm going to say something bad, it's got to end pretty. Like it's got to end happy. And it's like, everything does not end happy. Okay. Like everything is not pretty. So it's allowing yourself to just put it out there and know that you've received those words for a reason. And
Right.
whether it's for someone else to receive or whether it's just for you to get out, either way, allow yourself to explore all aspects of who you are and know that it's okay. Like it's okay to be free. It's okay to be unique. It's okay to not, like, I don't, because and I say this all the time, I don't consider myself to be like, I don't necessarily write like slam poetry, and that's okay,
Right.
but sometimes you can get afraid to share poetry because it's like, well, it's not the cadence, or it's not the topics, or the things that other people may like to hear, but it doesn't matter, like you just be who you are, and love yourself,
Basically.
accept yourself, and put it out there. It's okay. Like we all have our own form of writing. We all have our own style of writing. I think it's more important to just be you and to allow yourself to get it out. Yeah. To share who you are.
That's what's up. Thank you for that. You know what I mean? Appreciate that. Ja, you got anything for that?
At the end of the day, and I'll say this, right, because I give erotic poets a lot of. I do, and I think, and it's funny because I know somebody's going to be like, I know he's going to say something. So here's what I always say about, because I don't dislike erotic poetry. I have issues with the vulgarities when you say that you are a writer, right? And I say that because I want to write an erotic poem that I can say in front of adults, no matter how old they are. Right? I don't want to, I can't say this because I'm in front of church folks. Church folks have sex. That's how they have babies. Church folks are romantics. That's how they have, you know what I mean? So, but if I'm writing all of these words that I can't say in church, right? Or whatever religious place you go to. I say church because we're in what they call a Christian nation. But if I can't say these things in front of grandma, you know what I mean? Like, then what am I as far as a writer? So I can't stretch my vocabulary. And I know, don't get me wrong, because I say some of the vulgarities. There's a place for them, and I get it. I'm not like saying don't ever, or you're not a good writer because you use them. What I challenge the erotic poets to do is to stretch that vocabulary, right? Find ways to stretch it outside of the norm. So that way you're not limited when you walk into a space, because sometimes that might be your only thing that moves the crowd. I've done poems and the crowd sitting there and they don't get it. So I might have to do something that's a little edgy, but if there's so many vulgarities in it and I can't use it, then I'm in trouble. I just cage myself in. So don't, as a writer, I don't think you should ever lock yourself into, oh, I can only do these poems here. My Black Power poems, I get the best response in front of all white audiences. I don't shy away from them. This is what I live with. So you hear, you gonna get this work. And so I'm doing these, proud to be Black poems, and the white man came and took our people, and I do these poems in front of people, and those are the audiences that love it. And it's because I've taken the time to acknowledge that I don't have to say this in this word. I don't have to use the vulgarity, and that's my only thing. Like, take yourself away from that so that you can stretch out a little bit.
I believe. Thank you too for that. You know what I mean? But I believe that, like you said, when you can speak your poetry in front of the elders, that's a beautiful thing right there. And that's why I'm glad that I have a couple of elders in my family. When they read my material, they like, "Oh, JoJo, I didn't know you can write like that." I was like, "Yeah." I'll be like saying to myself, like, "Where you going with? Where you going with this?" Like, I'll be kind of skeptical. I'm like, "What book did you read?" I mean, like, but when they express things to me, it just makes it like, okay, cool. I need to stay right there, because certain family members, they come from that era. You know what I'm saying? Where that Black woman and this, that, and the other. So I always try to, I call it tippy toeing. Even when if I do erotic poetry, me myself, I'll tippy toe around things. Yeah. Now, unless it's a platform and I just jump out the window, then I'll go into one of my alter egos, be like Lord Atterbury. You know what I mean? Because that's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But but I get what you're saying though, because when I jumped on stage and I hear that, I was like, oh wow. Afterwards, they said that was you have some nice poetry, but it was a lot of white people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, because that's the area I'm in. But it felt good hearing it. It was authentic. You know what I mean? So I get it. Sometimes there's a time and place for everything.
Absolutely.
And like you said, the vulgarity. There's a certain way to bring out the things that you need to say without saying that all the X-rated stuff. You know what I mean? I ain't judging nobody. I'm just saying.
Right. No judgment.
But like you said, you want to be able to step into different places to be able to express and have people use their vivid imagination. You could say certain things and people like this. Oh, I get where you're going with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just ain't saying it, but I get it. And that should be the focus point. But to each his own. But I appreciate you breaking that down though. You know what I mean? Word.
But and also to add to that, the elders are the best listeners. Right. Bro, when I do poems and the elders they listen. They don't wait for punchlines. They are listening.
You're right.
Okay, I got you, young fella. I know what you're talking about. I've been there. Yeah. You know what I mean? They listen. Yeah, they do.
And those are the best ones that we can listen to. And when them elders speak, then you find even more inspiration and motivation to be like, oh, okay, I might just be on to something. Maybe I'll take off these Sammy Davis shoes. Instead of tiptoeing, I might tap dance or tippy toe, whichever one. I mean, but it's a beautiful feeling though, and that's why I say poetry's paradise. This is where it's at. You know what I mean? A safe haven for poets to come through, whether you're young, older, and express yourself. There's no limitations, but at the same time, we do have a PG standard for things. Right. We won't get all vulgar and, be right there with it. But the place is here to express yourself. We ain't going nowhere. Episode 1, Poetry's Paradise. Coach Ja, you have any last words?
Listen, firstly, I just want to thank you for bringing me on. And I mean, to be the first episode is truly amazing. I'm grateful for that. Very thankful. And then bring me on with Kendra because that's one of my favorites. Like from the beginning, she's been one of my favorites. Watching her grow in her craft and finally get her book done. I know she was very excited about that. So yeah, I'm giving you your flowers. I'm glad you're back. So it's very excited to be there. And I just want to encourage the other writers, those that are already authors and those that are working on new projects. And those are going to be writing something for the first time. Just encourage you to keep going, keep flowing. I got a few things coming up to help writers do some things, a few classes.
Yeah.
So stay in touch with me, man. Holler at your boy. And yeah, man, just keep on. Keep that work on, man. Keep that work going. Keep that work going.
Hey, Coach, let people know where they can find you at through your social media.
Gotcha. So I'm Coach Josh Smalls on IG, and I think I'm Poet Josh Smalls on TikTok. And I spend most of my time on TikTok. I'm not on IG as much, but if you go to my TikTok, my IG, you can find my TikTok through my IG for sure. I change my name up in there sometimes just because. Just extra like that.
I feel you, man.
Yeah.
Kendra, you have any last words for everybody out there in this poetry paradise, this new haven of the network? Let's talk. VIVE.
I am so sorry, y'all. My internet here in South Carolina right now is horrible, so I do apologize for dropping out. And hopefully you can hear me okay.
We hear you.
Hopefully I'm coming through okay. But, I think we're just doing like closing thoughts.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I just again thank you so much for having me on. It is an honor to be on with you, and definitely an honor to be on. And you can follow me.
Oh, she dropped again. Man. I know she is having problems down there.
Yeah, they hadn't fixed that. She said down there where the storm hit, because the storm hit pretty bad where she's at.
Yeah.
So I know she's at fire. I think her Wi-Fi just started working today, so it's probably still a little shaky.
Yes, I was informed of that. But I just want to say very much appreciative for having Coach Josh Smalls on here, and also Mynichelle, Kendra. I'm sorry that she's having technical difficulties, but it's been a beautiful blessing to have the both of you on the show. Episode 1, Poetry's Paradise. And stay tuned. Y'all can follow me, King Atterbury Inc. on TikTok. You can follow me, JW Atterbury, on IG. And we're going to come right back to Kendra now. Kendra, you here? You good, Kendra? I think she's still. Yeah. Yeah, she's still off. But you good, Kendra?
Yes. Can y'all see me now? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
I am Mynichelle. Finishing that off, you can Instagram is the best place to see when I put new stuff out. It's always on Instagram, but just under Myke, MYK and NICHELLE. I think it's on my little thing there. And again, I just want to thank you for having me on. I'm truly honored to be here and in such a great space with two great poets here. And I'm honored and very thankful.
Yeah, well, as I said, we'll check y'all out soon. You can check me out through my social media, see what I got going on, and stay tuned for the next episode. So if you're an author, poet out there, the combo, contact me at through the social media, through the inbox, and let me know would you like to schedule your appearance on the next episode or following episodes of Poetry's Paradise. And we're about to get up out of here. Also, too, I want to thank the producer, Q Ford. Salute. Let's talk. We out.